Will a TikTok ban hurt the Vols? Today's tough question, again, brought to you by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorneys. Play to win. Why settle? Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones, banksandjones.com. The New York Times and The Athletic released a report early Thursday morning, over what's the most popular college football team in the country. They looked at games with the most viewers. They looked at most Google searches. They looked at largest social media presence. They looked at home attendance. They looked at StubHub ticket sales. They looked at merchandise sales. They looked at football revenue and home field aggregate ratings, which basically kind of talked about just the overall home field advantage that people have, football revenue, online sports wagering, who the most money is wagered on, living alumni, and scored it all to see who the most popular college football team is. The rankings are as follows. Michigan's number 1, Ohio State's number 2, Alabama's number 3, Georgia's number 4, Texas is number 5, Penn State's number 6, Tennessee's number 7, Notre Dame's number 8, LSU's number 9, Texas A&M is number 10. On some of the important stats, with TV viewership, Tennessee, games with 4 million plus viewers over the past 4 years. Tennessee was number 7, Alabama number 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan 4, Texas 5, Penn State 6, Tennessee 7. Games with top 20 regular season viewing, 21 through 2024, the last 4 years. Tennessee, again, by the way, Tennessee had 19 games with 4 million plus viewers. I should throw that out there. Games that were in the top 20 in regular season viewing the past 4 years. Tennessee, again, number 7. Alabama's number 1. Ohio State's number 2. Georgia's number 3. Michigan's number 4. Penn State's number 5. Texas is number 6. Tennessee's number 7 with 7 games. In terms of Google searches, Tennessee was not in the top 10 in that stat. This is based on Google Trends to gauge each team's search history in the U.S. since 2004 relative to other programs. Tennessee was not in the top 10 of that. However, in social media presence and social media following, and that includes X, Facebook, and Instagram, Tennessee has a total of 2.4 million followers for their official accounts across the board. That is number 6. Alabama's number 1, LSU's number 2, Michigan's number 3, Ohio State's number 4, Georgia's number 5, and Tennessee is number 6. Moving on, coming back to social media in 1 second, all right, because that's where this gets interesting. Moving on, home attendance, Tennessee is number 10. Their average attendance rank was number 6 through 21 through 2024. Their percent capacity rank at 11.5. They ended up being number 10 behind Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Nebraska, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Texas A&M. That was based on the total attendance and then the capacity of the stadium. StubHub ticket sales, Tennessee, there were only 7 that were tracked. Tennessee was not in the top 7. Merchandise sales, though, Tennessee was number 5 for the 2024 regular season in the college football playoff. Home field aggregate ratings, Fanatics, Tennessee was number 3 behind just Notre Dame and Michigan. And football revenue, Tennessee ended up being number 5 behind Texas, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame. They have $137.1 million in revenue. As far as sports betting, Tennessee was top 10 in sports bets. They were number 4 behind USC, Georgia, Alabama, 2.3% of total bets. Top 10 bets with the percent of the most money wagered, 2.4% of the money wagered was Tennessee. That was actually down at number 7. Georgia, Ohio State, USC, Alabama, Texas, and LSU were ahead of them. And living alumni, Tennessee was not in the top 10, but none of those schools outside of Michigan and Penn State, Ohio State, maybe Texas A&M were competing for this large fan base. So all that in the aggregate gave Tennessee the ranking for the 7th most popular college football fans with a score of 29.5 based on how they added all of this up. Now, here's the one stat that really stands out. TikTok and YouTube. Tennessee has the largest TikTok following among the college football programs that were checked. Yes, that you heard that right. Tennessee has the largest TikTok program following among the college football programs. Why is that relevant right now? Because for those who don't know, Washington, D.C. has been in a bit of a debate right now with Congress. Last year, Congress passed a law, and then President Biden signed it. Not effectively a TikTok ban, but basically gave TikTok until January to divest, gave the Chinese company running it till January to divest, basically. to say, and if they didn't divest, then TikTok would be shut down in the United States. President Trump came in and delayed the enforcement of the ban for 75 days. Well, the deadline is looming now. The deadline is looming, and we don't know what Trump is going to decide to do, but there is a final proposal, and Saturday is the deadline. So if a deal's not done or if an agreement's not reached, TikTok could be banned on Saturday. Could that negatively affect Tennessee football? I got to be honest with you. I think it could. And Dylan brings it up perfectly. Dylan, quote, "We do great on TikTok because we pander to younger viewers. We made a meme highlight reel of every win from 2022. Yes, the highlight reel of Tennessee in 2022 with all their wins, particularly the Alabama game, has been a huge selling point that's made people want to become a part of Tennessee. It's big on the recruiting trail. Young people are on TikTok. A big selling point for recruits beyond just NIL, what can get you swept up emotionally, is just how well highlight reels and things are done for programs. I don't know how you guys are, but some of my favorite teams that I fell in love with as a kid in the 90s, one of the reasons I fell in love with them is I would watch some like documentaries on certain seasons with those teams that were so well done that you just kind of got inspired by them. That's how TikTok does, but in a very short way. It reaches a lot of fans. Tennessee has a huge fan presence on TikTok because of that. So with that in mind, a TikTok ban could cause problems for Tennessee. This is a unique way for them to recruit and for Josh Heupel to recruit. And I don't think it's talked about enough. If Tennessee, there are 870,000 Tennessee fans on TikTok. Now, whether or not you're for the merits or not of this, it's quite honestly it could be a problem for Tennessee. They're embedded of this. Derek says, as people are always providing data and analytics for these corporations, the fine print speaks on this. Derek, you are right. I will say, though, the funny thing about that, it's funny that they want to shut down TikTok because China might be collecting data, as if X and Facebook and Instagram aren't also collecting your data and just giving it to the Chinese government. Okay, I mean, it's so laughable to me that they would use that as the pretext to shut down TikTok when every social media company gives your data to every foreign government, pretty much. I mean, that's just how this works, okay? Once you use your phone, they're collecting your data. All right, Dylan says the reason we still talk about Tavon Austin is because of his West Virginia highlight reel. Exactly. People are talked about with their highlight reel, and TikTok is the perfect place to do a highlight reel. So a TikTok ban could be devastating for Tennessee in terms of recruiting younger people. The show represented by Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, play to win. Why settle? Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones, banksandjones.com. I'm going to come back to the message board in a second, but I'm going to ask him. I'm going to put it up on the poll question. Are you worried about a TikTok ban hurting Tennessee? Again, quick message, banksandjones.com.
Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott Jones. Banks & Jones.
All right, the poll question is up. Vote on it. Are you worried a TikTok ban could hurt Tennessee since the Vols have the largest TikTok presence? Again, 867,000. Tennessee has the largest TikTok following of 867,000 users among football programs that were checked. Now, in terms of other social media accounts and outliers and things like that, Deion Sanders has the same number of Instagram followers as Georgia, but only one on Instagram at 1.1 million, but only 1/4 as many followers on X. So that's why Colorado did not have a top 10 online platform. But again, we're talking specifically TikTok. We've all heard about Vol Twitter. We all know about Vol Twitter. Vol Twitter can be savage. And that's why, by the way, one of the things that really helps Tennessee the most is while their social media post wasn't number one, their fanatic ranking was just behind Michigan and Notre Dame in terms of how hardcore they are. And that combined with their social media presence makes Tennessee one of the most dominant social media programs. I mean, they have 900,000 followers with their official account on X, 752 on Facebook, 740 on Instagram. Funny enough, I think a lot of Tennesseans don't even follow their team accounts on those sites because they just don't like the self-promotion done, the self-promotion done by the actual official accounts. They like to give their own takes. And so it's probably even bigger. But Tennessee, we all know about how savage Vol Twitter is. I'm telling you guys, Vol TikTok can be even crazier and wilder. Okay. And it's much more problematic for Tennessee to lose that presence. I think it could hurt Tennessee. I think it could hurt them with younger recruits. I think a lot of recruits, quite honestly, I genuinely think a lot of recruits get swept up by the schools they fall in love with by looking at TikTok. I mean, I know you guys, that may sound crazy. I get it. And I get that sounds weird, but honestly, I genuinely think that TikTok has a huge presence that we're not accounting for, particularly among Gen Zers. And look, you take away not just Gen Zers, but now Gen Alpha, which is the next generation coming up of recruits. You're taking away a strong advantage for Tennessee to reach younger kids who would fall in love with the program based on that. Again, vote on the poll question. Are you worried a TikTok ban could hurt Tennessee since the Vols have the largest TikTok presence? Only 6 people have voted on it right now, guys. Keep voting. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So a few other things. Dylan says David Speaks says he doesn't watch TikTok. His wife does. He watches YouTube. Yeah, I prefer YouTube also. Dylan says, I don't think it would hurt us in the moment, but maybe long term. Thinking of recruiting, how else would a kid in San Mateo, California know about us without popping on his feed? Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I think a lot of these kids, a lot of these recruits, once the NIL evens out and they're offering the same money, the emotional feel to a school is what will get them to commit. And proximity and old school recruiting styles, emotional feel, proximity to home, all those things will be a factor. The school that does the best online videos is going to be a real factor in that because it can emotionally sweep you in. And look, Tennessee doing the best online on TikTok could give them a unique advantage in the long term. So I agree with you, Dylan. Ronnie Owensby comes in and says, Tennessee wouldn't need TikTok if they just make big plays. Well, that is true. Make the big plays and then you'll be splashy on all the social networks. Speaking of, Derek says, what happens if we migrate to another social network? Well, yes, but things are so embedded sometimes with social media. Would Tennessee be lucky enough that they would all migrate to take over another social network? You see what I mean? So that's kind of the issue. Derek is suggesting it'll help. Derek, honestly, I'm kind of intrigued by that. How do you think it'll help? Honest question. Just want to know. So I'm not saying it couldn't, but I'm just curious how it could. Look, I think this TikTok ban, again, this shows how much Tennessee skews towards a younger fan base. You want to maximize that advantage. You want to maximize that advantage with the younger fan base. And if TikTok goes away, then you are going to lose that advantage. Orange Blood says, well, it will go away for every school. Our social media team will adapt. IG, Facebook, and X, and either platform still exists, as well as the knockoff, the TikTok apps. Yes, but Orange Blood, what we're saying is that TikTok is where Tennessee has the largest presence. That's what we're talking about. They don't have the largest presence on Facebook, Instagram, and X. They have a good presence on those. I'm not knocking their presence, but they have the largest on TikTok. And TikTok sucks you in with those quick hit videos as you're just constantly scrolling. And Tennessee was the most has the most engagement on that platform, which is a huge deal for younger viewers. And so I'm honest, just being honest with you guys, this is an advantage for Tennessee that they could lose. How about that? So you don't want it to happen. Now, again, President Trump delayed it 75 days the first time. Maybe something's going to happen on Saturday where they negotiate a new deal to keep TikTok in the United States. But if it goes away, it could truly hurt Tennessee. It could take away an advantage for Tennessee with younger recruits, given the fact that they have the largest TikTok presence.